A mothership burns near the orbit of an unknown planet as several capsule ships flee toward a nearby planet. One of the ships descends to the surface, and the woman on board regains consciousness, struggling to understand what is happening around her. She tries to control the ship's descent, but it crash lands on the planet. Next, she looks around, but her surroundings are covered in mist and darkness. She turns on her ship's light, but she can barely see. She tries to use the emergency broadcast, but no one answers her calls. After that, she puts on her spacesuit, adjusts her oxygen, and opens the hatch. She steps outside and sees another ship entering the planet's atmosphere. Then she turns on her headlight and tries to contact people, especially someone named Lucas, but no one responds. Suddenly, she notices a shadowy figure standing in the darkness and approaches it. She introduces herself as Niu from the colony ship Utopia 2. As she moves closer, the figure vanishes into the mist. For a moment, she thinks she has lost her way back to her ship in the darkness, but she finds it again. Meanwhile, another woman named Tally also lands on the planet. Unlike Niu, she has radio contact with a man named Avel, who asked for her location. She projects a thin blue beam into the sky so he can find her. Avel confirms he sees the light and tells her he is on his way. Next, Niu uses a signal reader to search for Lucas, but the machine detects nothing. She keeps looking for him, but her efforts are unsuccessful. Then Avel asks Tally if she knows where they have landed, but she tells him she has no idea. After exploring the planet, they discover they are on Crake. Both of them are terrified to learn this. But then they witness their mothership explode completely. Tally arms herself with a pistol for protection. Meanwhile, Niu moves forward, continuing her search for Lucas. She is also armed with a pistol and places location tags every few steps to avoid losing her way back to her ship. Later, Tally asks Avel about his location in relation to the dim sun, but Avel suddenly tells her to get off the radio. He says he is speaking with another survivor. After a moment of silence, he reveals that the survivor is just a kid. Next, Niu sees a light in the distance and feels relieved, but soon it multiplies into 2, then 3 lights within seconds. She grows cautious as her reader still indicates no one is nearby. Suddenly, she finds herself surrounded by multiple purple lights. The lights converge to one spot before disappearing into the mist. Meanwhile, Tally feels sick with worry because Abel is not talking to her, but she can hear him speaking to the little boy. Finally, Niu's reader detects contact, but it is unidentified. To her horror, she notices her location tags disappearing one by one as something approaches her. She quickly tries to turn off all her lights, but her headlight control malfunctions. Panicking, she smashes the light with her hand and then slams her helmet against the ground to break it. As the light finally shuts off, she sees a massive figure with green lights coming toward her. She screams, terrified, as she struggles to understand what is happening. Next, the dim sun that faintly lights the planet vanishes behind a cloud, and Niu regains consciousness. Her LED display no longer works, but she sees the light of a ship and a blue beam projected into the sky. She runs toward the beam to warn them to turn off the light. Meanwhile, Avel informs Tally that he is near the boy and will come for her soon. Just then, Niu's broadcast connects to Tally's radio. Niu screams for her to follow the blue beam, but the signal keeps cutting in and out. Niu desperately shouts at her to turn off the light. Niu then notices the green light moving toward Tally's ship and warns her that something is in the mist. Tally quickly turns off all her lights except for the beam. Niu warns her to turn it off too. Tally moves toward the beam, but before she can act, the creature charges at the light, destroying it and sending it crashing to the ground as Tally hides behind a rock. Next, Tally tells Avel to instruct the boy to turn off his lights because something is attacking anything lit. Niu then reveals that the boy is her son, Lucas. Just then, the sun briefly breaks through, and Tally sees the wreckage left by the creature's attack. Avel tells them he is close to the boy and will turn off the lights himself once he reaches the frightened boy. Avel asks how to switch off the suit's headlight, and Tally explains it to him. But before anything can be done, Avel's voice comes over the radio in a scream as he is attacked by the creature, and the radio falls silent. Next, Tally and Niu discuss how to find each other as Tally only has 10 hours of oxygen left. Tally suggests Niu move toward her, using the radio signal strength as a guide. But Niu insists she needs her oxygen and strength to find her son. Tally then reveals that Avel was her father, and he might be dead now. New tells her she will die if she doesn't come to her, urging her to make up her mind because it will be dark soon, and the creature might strike again. Just then the sun sets, and Tally begins walking toward her. On the way, Tally asks about Lucas's father. New explains that Lucas was born from her DNA, which was used to fertilize her wife Laura's egg, revealing that he doesn't have a father. She also shares that Laura is dead. New asks Tally what happened to the mothership, and Tally explains that it was one of the strongest ships, designed to last for many years. She believes whatever caused them to land here wasn't an accident. After walking for a few miles, the duo enters a storm. New is attacked by a figure that detaches her oxygen supply. She falls to the ground and barely manages to connect another oxygen tank to her suit before running out of breath. New doesn't realize she was attacked and tells Tally she fell into a sinkhole and tore her suit. The duo decides to rest until the storm passes. New radios Tally, pointing out that the rocks surrounding them are actually the creature's droppings. They wonder if anyone will ever come looking for them. Tally tells her that explorers, smugglers, and miners visit the planet, but New doubts it, thinking there is hardly anything valuable to mine here. Tally explains that many miners and explorers get lost here every day, which makes New question what kind of mineral could be found on the planet. Tally examines the droppings closely and discovers a rare metal called perla. Tally tells New that perla is incredibly valuable and shares that her father once gave her a perla necklace. She suggests New dig through the droppings to find the metal, saying it could change her and Lucas's lives. Tally then confides that she grew up on ships and stations, and this is her first time on a planet, which has turned out to be a terrifying experience for her. New asks why Tally was on the Utopia 2 ship, suggesting she doesn't seem like she belongs there. Tally chooses to remain silent. New then tells her about Laura, who died in a deep space mining accident. Next, Tally collects several pieces of perla from the droppings, and the two wait for the storm to pass. The dim sun shines alongside a faint moon as the duo begins walking toward each other. New uses flashes of light, hoping either Tally or her son can see her, though Tally insists it's a bad idea. Their oxygen supply is running low, and Tally begs New to join her so they can conserve air. However, New refuses, determined to keep searching for her missing son. She believes Tally is strong enough to survive on her own, but New must continue her search for Lucas. Next, New turns on her scanner, which emits light, and suddenly the creature moves toward her. Tally sees this and warns her about the approaching danger. Just before the creature reaches her, New detects a signal and runs in that direction. New eventually finds Lucas's ship, but upon reaching it, she realizes it's an old capsule from a different time. She reports this to Tally and tells her the capsule belongs to another mothership called Avalon. Tally advises her to use the capsule's radio since it has a better range than their suit radios. New tries the radio, but instead of contacting her son, she reaches an Earth Defense Force patrol ship. The patrol ship's comms officer asks about survivors on the planet, and New informs them there are 3. Despite Tally's warnings, New provides their capsule number. The comms officer doesn't seem to be in a hurry and tells her they will arrive in about an hour. New asks if they have received signals from other transponders, but the comms officer says she is the first to make contact. The officer advises her to stay put and conserve oxygen until the rescue ship arrives. New begs them for information about her son, explaining that he is still missing. The officer informs her that approximately 20 capsule ships landed on the planet, and the nearest one to her is 300 meters northwest. Before signing off, the officer warns New that she will have to leave with them when they arrive, regardless of whether she finds her son. Next, New flashes the capsule's light, and Tally sees it, walking toward her. Just then, New notices fresh blood on the capsule's exterior. Suddenly, something begins chasing Tally. She runs for her life, but her radio goes silent, leaving New worried about what might have happened. After a few hours, Tally finally radios New, telling her she was attacked but managed to escape. She also reveals that she has found Lucas, but says it's better if New comes to her. Tally flashes her lights, guiding New to her location. New follows the lights, desperate to reach her son. New finally reaches the capsule, hoping to find her son Lucas, but it's empty. Angrily, she confronts Tally, accusing her of planning this all along. Tally explains that their ship was deliberately shot down and the crash was no accident. She reveals that she was attacked by a person wearing black and claims the Earth Defense Force is intentionally delaying their rescue. She says the passengers were deemed worthless, and the entire situation is about money and power. Tally then demands New's oxygen tank and points a gun at her. New tries to fight back, but Tally shoots her with an electric shock. Tally coldly tells her that no one cares about saving them and insists that Lucas is gone. In desperation, New disconnects her oxygen and throws the tank away, refusing to let Tally take it. Furious, Tally shoots her again. In the struggle, New tears Tally's suit, forcing her to patch it up with duct tape. Using the distraction, New escapes and manages to grab her oxygen tank back. However, she can't connect it to her suit quickly enough and collapses to the ground. When New regains consciousness, she finds herself tied up with a chain that emits glowing lights. A group of masked people surrounds her, having connected her oxygen to keep her alive for their plans. They explain that they intend to feed her to the creature. After it digests her and excretes her remains, they will collect the perla from the droppings. New begs them to let her go, explaining that her son is stranded on this planet and needs her. The masked group ignores her pleas and leaves her alone as bait. Soon the creature arrives and New struggles to free herself. She barely manages to break free from the glowing chain and runs for her life. As she flees, she spots a boy tied up in the same way she was. Desperate, she attacks the masked man guarding the boy, stabbing him in a fight. When she unties the boy, she realizes it isn't Lucas, it's another boy named Isaac. New is heartbroken, realizing all her efforts were for nothing. Determined to save Isaac, she turns off the light to keep him from being eaten by the creature. Soon, luminescent creatures appear, floating in the air, and the larger creature is drawn toward them. New and Isaac close their eyes, holding each other tightly. Suddenly, Tally arrives and shoots the creature with her electric gun. However, this has no effect on the creature. New tells Tally that Isaac is not her son. Then she gives Tally her oxygen tank, telling her she is better than she thinks she is. New urges Tally to take care of Isaac, and in a final act of sacrifice, she turns on her headlight, drawing the creature's attention. As the creature devours her, Tally and Isaac watch in horror. Tally then takes Isaac and heads toward the nearest capsule to restore communication with the Earth Defense Force patrol ship. Both of them are running out of oxygen. After repeated failed attempts, Tally reveals that she is a citizen of Earth and broadcasts her ID number. Immediately, the comms officer responds and gives them their exact location. With their oxygen almost depleted, Tally and Isaac are found by the rescue ship. Just as they are about to board, the masked men arrive. Tally fights them off, determined to keep them from discovering the perla she collected earlier. The rescue ship's hatch opens, and an Earth Defense Force officer steps out. As the creature approaches, drawn to the light, the officer uses a device emitting a high-frequency sound, driving it away. He then signals the masked men to leave Tally alone, but orders them to take Isaac, revealing they work together with the masked men. Tally screams in protest as the officer drags her into the rescue ship, leaving Isaac behind. The masked men place the glowing light chain around Isaac, preparing him as bait for the creature. The ship takes off as the men turn on the light and wait for the creature to arrive. On board the rescue ship, Tally sobs, helpless to save Isaac. Meanwhile, Isaac notices a skull covered in perla nearby, realizing it is a grim glimpse of his impending fate. The end. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.